Hello, everyone. I am Tak Kawatani, Crosscultural Management Consultant. I am the president of Diversity Management Institute of Japan. I help people lead inclusively and across cultures, and especially for Japanese firms, expatriates, or business people, and the non-Japanese working with the Japanese to help collaborate for synergy. Now, welcome to this Winning Together at Japanese Companies channel. And I'm sorry I've kept you waiting for so long since the last program. Many things have happened to me, including relocation of my office and house and so on and so forth. Now, today's topic is topics for daily conversation with Japanese. Okay, later I'll share the screen so you'll have a better look. Some of the topics I recommend for daily conversation with Japanese people. Now, even if you're learning Japanese and speak good Japanese, when it comes to the daily topics of conversation, how to strike up a conversation, the casual conversation with the Japanese friends and colleagues may not be so easy. So those are the tips for today. Now, let me read the preface of this section 2, topics for daily conversation with Japanese. What are the appropriate topics for daily conversation with Japanese at work and after work? Are there any taboos? Accumulating small talk is a foundation of relationship around the world. Point the topic of your choice and have fun. Point meaning point your finger here on my book to share it with Tanaka-san or Watanabe-san. Point the topic of your choice and have fun. There are a few taboo topics with Japanese despite their formal appearance. Well, you will find out as we go along. 日本人との職場や就業後の会話、職場でのあるいは就業後の会話、ふさわしい、話題とタブーとは何でしょうかと。世界中どこでも人間関係の基盤は雑談の積み重ねですよねと。イラストを見ながら会話を楽しみましょう。真面目な外見とは裏腹に、日本人との会話にタブーはほとんどないのです。That's my policy. Okay, there are 4 categories of the recommended conversation topics: business, informal, personal, and private categories. All right, so let's talk about the business category topics. Well, local politics and economy first. Well, a lot of people say don't talk about politics, but it's okay. Political events such as election, political campaigns, and geopolitical issues and conflict and so forth is everyone's interest. But of course, not during business presentation or meeting, but during the coffee break or after work, on a casual environment like bars and restaurants. It's okay to ask the political trends in your country, if not criticize the other person's political situations without much knowledge. And local business culture and practices, local meaning your business culture and practices, which Japanese friends of yours may not be aware of, all right? Local industry network, some of the business industry connections and networks, how pharmaceutical industries, how robotics industries, IT industries, electronic appliance industries operate. That's a common business topic of conversation. Now, connecting with local VIPs. Now, this is something that the Japanese or any Japanese may not be aware of, beyond what they read in paper. If you know of someone, a VIP, business executives, influencers in your community, in your connection, of course, if you drop your name, those names, and even if you can refer your Japanese friend to those connections of yours, then it'll be a very good conversation, of course. Inside industry story, of course, something that the Japanese may not be able to read in newspapers. Business trip story. If you've been to a special interesting place, if you're Mexican, you go to somewhere. If you're Russian, you go to somewhere that the Japanese can never even dream of the localities of those places, right? Then what happened there in your trip, who you met, how did your business sales negotiation go, and so forth and so forth, so on and so forth. Business trip story is a casual topic, right? And business challenges, of course. What are the hardships, troubles that you're going through? You know? So those are the typical common topics in the category of business. Informal category, informal category, this one, informal category, 砕けた会話のトピックですね。Holiday plans and stories. Holiday plans and stories, of course. If you have a plan for Christmas holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, New Year's holiday, or Golden Week in Japan, that everyone is very curious to know about. And after you return from your holiday, you might want to share your stories, what happened, what fun you had, and so on. Weekend plans also, and marriage, childbirth, and birthday. You may not want to talk about the divorce experiences unless your Japanese friend had the share of the same experience, but it's always safe and fun to talk about someone's marriage in your family or yourself, or baby born and birthday. You may want to invite a Japanese friend or business friend to form a casual birthday party if you're holding. Career hopes and challenges, lessons learned from your work, interesting story of customers. There are very funny customers, bizarre customers, very amazing customers you have run into. And 猫の手も借りたいこと, the help that you want the most. In Japanese we say 猫の手も借りたいと. Even a cat help you want because you're running short of staff and resources and money and time. The biggest headache from work or just from your life, not the biggest headache. Money matters, taking care of Asian grandparents or parents and your problems in your life. Work blunders, big trouble you have encountered. Those are the typical safe and everybody's conversation topics, aren't they? So that's informal category. 次はですね、個人的な話題、personal category topics. Raising children is everyone's headache or pleasure or joy. Raising children in your country, something that Japanese may want to know a lot. And if you're expat in Japan, raising your children in Japan, which is a foreign country to you, how are your experiencing them? What are your experiences? And I think it's very curious for Japanese people. They're also raising children in the Japanese school system. And if you're sending your kids to international school in Yokohama or Kobe, it's fun to talk and compare the children's education, child rearing, health condition. You have some health problem, this and that. Hot events in Japan and in your country. Hot events in Japan, Japanese people know, but hot events in your country, they are very curious to know. What are the hot events? Something, is it football game in the US or soccer game in, rugby and American football in the US, or football in the UK, or tomato festival in, was it in Greek? Somewhere in Europe. Some hot events, curious, funny events in your country. And of course, if you're curious to know the events in Japan, we have a lot in Japan, of course, associated with the seasonal changes, right? As we talked about in last week, you can drop those questions. Sports topics is a very common. Work dream for your work, and your life challenges of your children's education, your aging, your physical condition, depending on the life stages of a career, as a business person. The last category is a private category. Private na wadai. Well, it can be anything that happens casually in your daily life. TV drama you love, fun jokes, family left in your country. If you're an expat in Japan, you can talk about the family you missed in your home country. And if you're talking with Japanese expatriates in your country, they leave their family back in Japan. So you have some shared topic. Spouse's life abroad. Expat spouse, they are living in your country, which is foreign country to the Japanese. So expat's wife or spouses have unique challenges, and then you may have some advice and tips to familiarize, acclimatize Japanese expats, spouses to your local culture. Your hobby, your food, working in Japan, working abroad, how you spend your weekend, how they spend a weekend in your country, and how to enjoy nightlife in your community. So those are the common topics for daily conversation with the Japanese people. I didn't talk much about during topics of during the business conversation, but rather after business during the break. So those are the topics you can talk. Well, I promised in the first episode that any questions you write in the comment section of YouTube, I will try to answer in this very topic in this show. So let's share the screen. And where is this? I think this one. Yes. Can you see? This is the website of my previous episode when we talked about seasonal life events. Expats, Japanese expats, miss, right? Someone from Boston, USA, English Empowered Channel, my friend, she is an English coach for business professionals or Japanese business professionals. And she asked me a question. I have a question about 4 seasons or 24 seki, Nijushi seki, and Japanese corporate culture. Do you think the seasonal changes and seasonal events affect Japanese people's way of working, other than the fact that they are reborn every day? Thank you. Well, my answer is yes, they do affect the Japanese people's way of work, style of work, to some extent. Well, the easiest example is the typical business year in Japan begins on April 1st, ends on the end of March, April to March, right? So welcome to company, what do you call it? The first day of job in Japan starts April 1st. So from about February to March, university graduates prepare to enter the corporate world. So the companies give them some kind of homework to not to lose those students, but to make sure that they do come and join in April. They give some homework to do, or even kind of a casual orientational pre-work training program they do in March. And after they join the April, of course, a training program to acclimatize them to corporate culture and business, they do 1 week to several months of training, right? So they feel very fresh. The second thing is answer to your question, English Power Channel, is Japanese products do change according to seasons, as you know. The other day I was watching TV commercial, and I was a bit surprised because I didn't know the beer in Japan, some beer in Japan do change their flavor according to 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. You know why they change the taste of the beer? Is because the taste and ingredients of the food we eat according to seasons do change. Then it's better the beer changes, taste match the taste of the food we eat for seasons wise, right? And the third answer to this question is the memory, 記憶に関することなんですね。I used to live in Malaysia, tropical climate, for 17 years, right? And it was hard to remember when a certain business event or acquaintance with a friend happened. But in Japan, because seasons are very clear, I always remember very easily, the day I bump into that guy, that person, or something happened, is I remember that was a very hot, sunny day, because I remember even now the heat and the sweat was coming down from my head to toe. You know, those seasonal events, temperature and heat and the cold weather do remind us of the when a certain event happened, you know. So weather does affect our memory, and the relationship feels very refreshed. So that's my short answer. Thank you. All right, so let's go back. Let's look at this one, all right? This channel, Win Together at Japanese Companies, as you know, I'm going chapter by chapter, and it looks like it'll take a few months to finish my book, Winning Together at Japanese Companies. If you go to Winning Together Japanese Companies website, you can download sample pages from this book. You can order from Amazon.jp also. Publisher friend Mr. Morita in Singapore sends this book to anywhere around the world by post. And of course, you can buy the Kindle ebook version. And those are the episode chapter. And today, step one, let's get connected. We are on step one. We talked about seasonal life events already. And we had a Filipino HR manager guest speaker in the last topic. And today we have done topics for daily conversation with Japanese, right? Business category and so on, okay? Private. Now, next program, we're gonna do mingle before work. 仕事の前に交わろうということで、we'll be touching on form の法則, the law of form, family, occupation, recreation, and message, all right? So please stay tuned, and we'll be coming back, and I want to do as frequently as possible. I'm sorry about the long interval from the last session. See you again. I am Tak Kawatani, Winning Together at Japanese Company channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. No rehearsal, no preparation, so pardon me. Bye-bye. See you again soon.